Yeah,
Cool.
Working, yeah.
Yeah.
So we may as well start from the beginning, what we were talking about outside, really.
Okay.
Your career from when you were a young lad. You know, where did America start? Should we start there?
Yeah, so if you look at, like, you've got these things called adverse childhood events, so ACEs we call them in the NHS, and it's like a list of 10 things, and the more of them you score, then the chances show that you're going to have a harder sort of time trying to have a healthy, functional mental health and your what do you call it, your nervous system. So if you've got lots of conflict in your early life, it's harder to feel calm when you're getting older.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like I was showing you then about my anxiety, I've had that since I was 11, 12, things like that. So maybe that's something to take forward for me. So, obviously when you were younger, you said you went to America and stuff like that. You done MMA, wasn't it?
That's it, yeah.
Do you want to start from there and we'll go from there? About your career, really.
Yeah, okay, career-wise, okay, sorry, yeah. So I was doing some MMA fighting in America, which is a bit of a dream, really, getting paid to get trained and fighting and stuff. And I tore my shoulder. And the plan was to join the Royal Marines, but wasn't going to happen with the injuries. So I joined the police as a self-defence trainer. So I taught like self-defence, first aid, worked with like the public order, the firearm side of things and that. That's cool. Then, where'd you go from there? You've got, looking at this here, there's about fucking 50 things on there. All these scouts has got other jobs. So then I worked abroad and the close protection team as a medic. So a lot of us like babysitting rich Chinese business people, want to buy land in different parts of. So I had a few bad days at the office doing that, should we say? Yeah, I bet you did. Yeah, and then I came back from that and I joined the ambulance service as an EMT, and I was also mountain rescue as well. So I've done that as well. That's cool. In local or mountain local.
Rescue?
So I was Cheshire Search and Rescue, and that we support mountain rescue teams in North Wales and Yorkshire as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So obviously, what you do now, you're learning to be a psychologist now, are you?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I'm a psychotherapist.
Right.
I'm an advanced clinical practitioner, so I'm in between psychologists and psychotherapists.
Right, okay.
Bit of a bespoke one. So I do my doctorate at the moment.
Okay.
And when I finish that, then I'll be a psychologist.
Tough. Is it tough?
Yeah. I'm not academic and obsessed.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a course that I work on like this stuff all the time, trying to write essays about it and study it just so much harder.
How do you find that with obviously what you said, was that with your brain injury that you had?
It's a lot harder. My brain's changed. Yeah. So before my brain injury, I had what we call an eidetic memory, like a photographic memory.
Did you?
So I could read on a page in my mind.
Like Rain Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm nothing like that at all now. So just trying to write a sentence, I can't focus on anything. I've become dyslexic as well. So I need audio books. It's made everything. It was already hard anyway doing a doctorate. It's made it 10 times harder. What happened? What happened with your brain injury? They think it was a bleed in the brain. So
like aneurysm, is it?
Sort of, yeah. So I grew up in a rough area. A lot of fighting when I was young and stuff like that. With the Asian side of things. And then the martial arts and the close protection doors and stuff like that.
Too many blows to the brain, maybe, or something like that.
That's why I look like this.
Punch drunk.
That sounds so pretty.
Punch drunk, they call it, don't they?
Yeah, so they reckon I've had maybe like an aneurysm. And then I went to the gym one night. This was when was it? 2020? Yeah, October 2020. Came back from the gym. Thought, I feel a bit tired. Went to bed. Woke up, banging headache, sore neck. Got in the shower, collapsed in the shower. Felt a bit weird. Went to work, saw a patient, they left, I passed out. Okay, maybe I best go home. Drove home, crashed my car, and my left side just got going weak, my speech was dead slurred, and they reckon I had a small bleed, possibly. Fucking hell. Yeah, so that was a bit of a game changer.
Can you remember the way you were before and now, or is it a bit...
Yeah, my memory's different now, definitely. Right. So my missus gets frustrated because she'll tell me something, or I'll tell her something, 2 minutes later I'm saying it again. Yeah. It's like I got dementia, so I forgot.
That must be quite frustrating for you, mustn't it, considering, like you say, the mental strength you had before it happened. Yeah. That must be
definitely.
tough.
I mean, I've become more anxious since it happened.
Yeah.
It's thrown all my hormones out of sync as well, so my testosterone levels dropped as well, which can happen apparently. Yeah. My mental health got worse because of it. And then suddenly I've gone from like being this guy who could do martial arts, I was in the gym, to feeling very, very vulnerable all of a sudden. Because half my body's not working, I can't remember stuff. You know, I was trying to go for a pee and I forget I've ever been or I'm on my way to come back.
Really?
My memory was that bad sometimes.
Fucking hell. So
everything's sort of changed. So I had to sort of relearn to walk and talk properly over a few months as well.
So you must obviously struggle a little bit mentally, I'd imagine.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. If I'm tired, then my speech goes, I slur my words loads, sound like I'm drunk when I'm not, I get vertigo. And then some days my heart rate's for the roof, just high anxiety for no reason at all.
I get that. My heart rate goes really quick, and then I don't know where it goes back to normal level, then it shoots up. And I think I had an issue last year where I collapsed in my living room. My blood pressure was 240 over 160.
That's not healthy.
No, my missus said, like, let's go. We'll go.
Yeah, your missus was a nurse, and she's
the best place 24 hours later, I was fine. But I think they call it something, I can't remember what it was called. There's a medical term for it, but it's sort of like a mild stroke.
Okay.
So I was very, very lucky, really.
Have you been since then? Has your brain been the same since?
Fine. I've done my blood pressure last week. I think it was 130 over 75 or something like that. So, I'm always going to be bigger, so my blood pressure will be a little bit higher, but for me, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, obviously, one of the big conversations that we wanted to do is on North Wales and the suicide rates and the trauma rates. I know when we first spoke, you said to me that the trauma percentage, is that right? Trauma rates?
That's it, yeah.
In North Wales is one of the highest in the UK.
Yeah.
And it shocked me, but it didn't, because you think, this must be the same severity as everywhere else, but as you've said, it's clearly not. Yeah,
it's weird. So they reckon, depending on what study you read, but the average percentage of the population traumatised in the UK is about 4%. The latest study shows about 9.2% in North Wales, like Betsy, sort of like North Wales, Flintshire, Denbighshire, across that sort of 855 corridor. And they couldn't work out why at first, but I've got a few theories. We've got a lot of care homes in the area, and there was a lot of child and sexual abuse that happened, unfortunately, 80s and 90s, 70s as well. We've also got a lot of veterans who come here and they retire here, and they bring their trauma with them as well. Get people like me who come from like Liverpool or Manchester for a quiet life, and we bring our stuff with us. And then we had all the industry closed down as well. So we've got high unemployment, alcohol use went up, drug use went up, domestic violence went up as well. So we've got this melting pot of all these people who've gone through a lot of trauma, and then they're sort of mixing with each other, having families together, but then passing on their unhealthy coping mechanisms that we might have sometimes, because we're in survival mode. So, we do things to excess, so we might drink too much or party too much or work our asses off, and then we don't take time to sort of stop and sort of heal properly. We just get on with it, And I think that's just created this sort of traumatised families, these traumatised communities, which you don't really see the rest of the UK, which is unusual really, because it's such a nice place.
I read somewhere that, and you'll know better than me, but the rates of suicide, obviously between male and female, males higher, but women try to attempt it more. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Is that,
Yeah, so when I was back in the search and rescue team, I'd done the search planners course, and basically it was like when people go missing with the mental health, who goes where and why. And we've got these weird sort of patterns. So men's way that they complete suicide, it's normally a more sort of finite way of doing it. So men hang themselves to shoot, jump onto trains. Women traditionally, not always.
Medication and things like that, maybe?
Medication, overdose, your liver does its job and we throw back up again. So some studies say that women probably try it more, but the men's method is more complete. And that's why high suicide rates in men than it's in women.
So from what you said there, obviously there's a lot of... What would you say the age is? Would you say wild guess, I'd say between 25 and 40? Is that sort of the ideal range of men that kill themselves?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a horrible fact. In the UK nationally, the biggest cause of men dying under the age of 45 is suicide. So we kill ourselves more than cancer kills us, more than violent crime kills us, more than murder. We kill ourselves more than anything else does.
More than violent crime?
Yeah. The biggest killer men under 45 is suicide. Shocking, isn't it?
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So another question, and I don't know whether you can answer this, is a lot of us as men, especially in sort of the more deprived areas, sort of the local areas where we are, or where I am, we all our tendencies are all the same, I think. So we all turn to, whenever we have a shit time, or you split up with a partner, or you're not allowed to see your children, or you lose a job, looking from the outside in, it'd be mental to act this way, but we take drugs to self-medicate our issues. We drink. Why do you think it is that men more so, the majority of us act the same way? We do the same things. We self-implode. We self-destruct. And that's a big question. What nobody's been able to answer me yet. I haven't got the answer for it, and maybe you've got something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think traditionally, men, especially in our culture, we're not taught how to deal with our feelings.
Yeah.
There's a guy called Daniel Goleman, and he says something called emotional intelligence.
Right.
So what he wrote in his book was that men don't get taught how to recognise our feelings.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely a caveman.
Yeah.
So I look angry when I'm hungry. I look angry when I'm anxious.
Yeah.
People think I'm in a bad mood. I'm actually just quite nervous.
Yeah.
And I look angry all the time, and maybe it's about men not being taught how to show the emotions of difference. So we go from everyone's okay to shit, it's all gone wrong, and we go straight to anger. When that anger is like an umbrella emotion, there's loads underneath that, and we don't get taught how to sort of show it out. So everything we do is like a seesaw from like self-care and self-harm. So having a few drinks of wine is self-care. 8 cans in is a self-harm.
Yeah.
And I think we go to that more primal, sort of primitive state because anger is something that we know, so we sort of jump into that sort of like physical sort of state, I think.
It's interesting because the men's mental health group that I go to, one of the biggest issues is drug use and alcohol use and stuff like that, but we know before we do it that it's going to be the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
And we still do it. It baffles me because I struggled with addiction myself for quite a while, and now I've tried to put different coping mechanisms in place. So on a Friday night, if I feel like I've had a stressful week, I haven't for the last month and a half or so, but I'd go to the gym. When I was struggling, I'd go to the gym at 11:30 on a Friday night. I walk out of there feeling fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I think we're always going to have that emotional instability as humans, I think. I don't think you're ever going to be able to, unless you're a fucking Tibetan monk or something like that, we're always going to have it, aren't we?
Definitely.
I think for us, it's finding ways of, you can elaborate more, but finding ways of dealing with those issues, and when you are feeling vulnerable and when you are feeling destructive, you've got the tools in place to cope with those issues. That's what I think as a local man, as a local lad, we all need access to those tools a little bit more. I think a lot of us don't know where to go. I didn't. You've told me more in the last 10 minutes than I've learned in the last 2 years, probably. But I think that's a big issue with mental health. Yeah. A lot of us don't know what to do, generally. And
I think you hit the nail on the head. All those behaviours are to address the issue.
Yeah.
So heartbreak's still going to be there, bereavements, loss, whatever, it's still going to be there.
Yeah.
But in our society, going and having a few pints when you fell out with the missus or partner, whoever, our granddads were doing that, our great-granddads were doing that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? There's more access to drugs I found in North Wales than there was in Liverpool.
Really?
Everyone's got a number for someone.
Yeah.
So a couple of pints in, they make a call.
Yeah, it's really easy.
It's very easy to go downhill. The gyms aren't always 24 hours. You can get a bag of cocaine at 2 o'clock in the morning, but you can't go do some bench pressing.
On a Tuesday as well.
Exactly.
You can get it anywhere.
And then when you call at 2 o'clock in the morning, when you're heartbroken, it's probably doing the same thing as you. That's why they're awake 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So I think the issue's always going to be there, but there's nothing accessible, and we've got to unlearn these easy things that give us dopamine and happy hormones.
How do you think we can go about that as a collective in North Wales? How just focusing on North Wales, is that something that your job entails? Trying to, obviously, you deal with how can you put it? People who struggle with mental health, people who struggle with suicide. You deal with that on a daily basis, from what you've told me.
Yeah.
So how do you go about? I was going to say getting them back off the ledge then, but I didn't really.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that's not a bad analogy, because I think the problem is there's definitely a place for professionals.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with PTSD myself a long time ago, and I've been both sides of it.
Yeah.
And I retrained to work in this because there wasn't enough people, especially men, trained in this stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing I've noticed is you've got to be in crisis before you get help.
Yeah.
Surely there's got to be help before you're on the ledge, not after you fall off.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm trying to do, I got told by a guy called Neil Greenberg, he's a professor down at King's London.
Right.
And he said that resilience lies between people, not within them. So you're looking at these communities supporting each other. So what I try to do in my job, I see patients with PTSD, borderline personality disorders, dissociative identity, all these big complex diagnoses, and then I'm trying to get them out of crisis into a place where they can function healthily. But I wonder how many times we've missed opportunities in the community, in the schools, in the workplace, in the families, before they got to this point of actually feeling like they're broken. Do you know? When
you say that, what did you say? It's between them.
So resilience is between people, not within them.
So what do you mean by that? Between us, as in we can help each other rather than do it on your own?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I agree.
We're hardwired. So I won't get into the geeky science of it, but the same part of your brain feels emotional pain, feels physical pain.
Right.
So when you've got man flu, what do? On the couch, blanket over us, watching telly, feel like shit.
Yeah.
And we isolate ourselves. And that's hardwired, so we don't give to the rest of our tribe or our herd or pack or whatever you want to call us. So we don't want to give our illness to everyone around us. So when we're emotionally not feeling good, we don't want to make everyone else around us not feel good. So we isolate ourselves.
Yeah, isolation for me was a massive thing. Yeah. It still is now. I say to my partner, whenever I'm feeling a certain way now, and I've never explained how I feel this way, because when you stay in bed till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you don't feel good. No. But maybe you're having a bad day, and that's what I say now. So just before Christmas and just after, I'd stay in the house, not so much in the bedroom, but I'd stay in the house for 3 or 4 days. I wouldn't go out. Yeah. I didn't know why. I just didn't want to. And I'd feel like shit. I wouldn't have a shower for 2 days maybe and stuff like that. And I know that's a part of the mental health issue that I've got. Yeah. I can't diagnose it. When I went to see a therapist and he thought it was bipolar, but then he said it wasn't. He thought it was more anxiety. Maybe it is the anxiety of having to get up and do certain things in a day that I just can't deal with. But I think isolation is a massive one, because, like we were saying outside before, I think that when you're going through the shit part of your life and you're depressed and like we said, I think, and I don't like using this, but you've got to hit rock bottom before you do anything about it. You see a lot of that on social media, how they glamorise how you hit rock bottom, and there's nothing glamorous. I look at it and I think there's fuck all glamorous about anything like that.
And why was that person allowed to hit rock bottom in the first place? How many missed opportunities were there before then?
Yeah, you know? So that's the question that I was going to say. Rather than having to, because again we said outside, you've got to feel that pain before, and feel it again and again and again and again before you say, I'm fucking fed up now. Yeah. I'm going to do something about it. From me to you, how and why do you think that we have to put ourselves through that over and over again? I'll tell you a story about a local guy. It's a well-known story, but I won't mention names. Just before Christmas, he went to the hospitals begging them for help, which means that he was obviously really struggling. They didn't give him the help that he needed the day after he killed himself. How do we acknowledge when somebody's in a certain? Again, it's easy for the outside looking in, but how do we acknowledge when somebody is literally on that edge, and maybe, what can we do better as a collective so we don't have to feel that pain over and over again? Yeah. I know it's a difficult thing, but help me.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Unfortunately, that story, I can think of 5 or 6 stories very similar. Yeah. And I work for the NHS, and what's really bad is in this area there's no crisis team.
Really?
Flintshire does not have a crisis team for suicide. It has a home treatment team, so if you survive, they'll come and see you at home for a few days.
So when you say crisis team, as in you phone them, I'm struggling, I'm going to kill myself, they haven't got anything like that?
We've got 111+2.
Right.
So which is what you phone for, like NHS Direct.
Yeah.
But in our local, it's called in our primary care mental health team, there's no team dedicated to suicide prevention.
Wow.
Which is really weird, because our suicide's gone up 102% in the area.
Since
COVID.
102%?
Yeah.
It's crazy that, like you say there, that we've got the biggest trauma rates or one of the biggest trauma rates in the UK. Yeah. And yet there's, that should be common sense really for the powers that be to put in place, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
And would that make your job a lot easier?
It would do. I mean, my job's the hardest job I've ever done.
I can imagine so, yeah.
I love it, but you hear things that you don't want to hear humans can do to each other. Everyone who's in there is at breaking points, you know what I mean? They've gone through trauma. I was there till 8:30 at night, the other night, with someone. I meant to finish at 5, and this person was in crisis. There was nowhere for them to go. I'm not going to go home and leave them. I'm not going to go and say, I'm clocking off, see you later. Yeah. I can't do that. Yeah. I think sometimes just being a human being and giving someone that space. Yeah. I think that answers your question as well, because when people isolate themselves, it's easy to go, oh, well, they'll sort themselves out. And I'm not saying that we'll be guilty of someone harming them. We can't make someone harm themselves. Yeah. But someone having a breakdown is messy. They can be hard to get on with. They can be a little bit, arrogant or push us back. Aggressive even, and they can be obnoxious. And I know I had a very public breakdown due to my liver failing a while ago, and it messed my mental health up. And I upset everyone in that sort of house party I was at. Yeah. I was having a bit of a medical trauma going on. Right. I was having liver failure, which caused my brain to go like a water infection. And people don't see the fact that because you're upsetting them and offending them, actually, something's gone wrong here.
Yeah, they just think you're being a moody bastard.
Yeah, but if you were healthy, you wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. I think sometimes it's having that patience to go, look, yeah, okay, they're being a bit of an arse at the moment, they're pushing me back, but there's something not right. And trusting that gut feeling, you know, not giving up on people just because of the hard work.
Yeah.
You know, it's easily done because people do push you away and we get self-destructive. So if I believe I'm unlovable, I'm going to push you all away to prove to myself that I'm unlovable. And eventually you'll stop trying. So I believe I'm unlovable. I
know a few people like that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that. I think in your job as well, you've got to have empathy, haven't you? You've got to.
Yeah.
You can't work the same as other different jobs. Yeah. Say my partner's a nurse and she deals with the elderly and end-of-life care and stuff, going to visit them in houses.
That's a hard job. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they take a lot more on than what they should, as in mentally. They come home and they really. It must be tough dealing with all that on a daily basis. Like I said before, these podcasts, I was fucking knackered last week.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can't really imagine what you guys have to do, but...
And there's a risk of that, so we call it vicarious trauma. So if I listen to lots of traumatised story all the time, eventually I'm going to have the effects of being traumatised.
Yeah.
So if you hear 10 women in a row talk about men raping them, suddenly you're going to go out thinking all men are rapists. If you hear about... 10 times of a certain event happening, you're going to believe that's a higher possibility of happening. So you've got to traumatise yourself. So when you're doing these podcasts and you listen to these stories all the time, it's emotionally affecting you. And your brain's trying to make you safe.
Yeah.
So what you're going to find, you're going to get tired and tired and tired. They make your defences build up, and they'll start changing your viewpoint in the world to keep you safe.
And what's that called?
Vicarious trauma. So when you get traumatised by someone else's stuff, and that can lead to something called burnout, where your immune system suffers, you're tired all the time, you're acting like you're depressed, you've always got a permanent cold, and that's because your brain and your body can't take any more, so you just basically switch it off. So it's
like a safety mechanism type thing.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And it's there designed to keep you safe, but, I've got a team of 15 people who work for me,
right? And
I'm really hot on the fact that these guys could get vicarious trauma, because they're seeing 5 or 6 patients a day with really, really heavy stuff. Are they okay before they go home?
Yeah.
When you take it home, you see people in pain, you can't just switch off. It's not possible, Like your missus, she's going to come home and remember that story of that family or that person who passed away.
She does, yeah.
You can't just, you don't just take your uniform off and it goes. You're still a human being, aren't you?
I think before Christmas last year, there was a time, I think, I can't remember, I've got the number right, but she said that something within 2 weeks she'd had to deal with 15 people passing away.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and it was the first time ever, because she loves her job, and it was the first time ever that I'd seen her really feel, negative and sad, and I thought, fucking hell, that must be really tough.
Yeah.
Must be.
I feel for her doing her job, because when I was ambulance doing CPR on someone who's already dead, it's different, it's mechanical.
Yeah.
When you got the family around crying and they're mourning, and your missus is dealing with these people at the end of their life where they might be scared, do you know what I mean? They got the family around, trying to give them a good ending. That's because you put so much of yourself into that work.
Yeah.
Do there's not much get back from that, really,
Yeah, it's interesting. Vicarious trauma.
Vicarious trauma.
I'll have a read about that one as well.
Yeah.
I think the next question I'd say is, again, just touching on the local aspect of it, is what you mentioned before, drug abuse, sexual abuse, child abuse and stuff like that. Is there any statistics that show you what is the highest cause of suicide, or is it just more generalised than that?
There probably is, but I haven't got one on me now.
Yeah. From your experience,
my experience, the biggest danger factors are isolation and alcohol.
Really?
So they reckon I went on a suicide prevention, so it's an All Wales Suicide Initiative. I went on this about 3 months ago, and the idea is to make a policy in Wales to reduce our suicides because they're so high. And what they said is that alcohol more than doubles the chance of someone actually will kill himself, because they get that sort of last-minute thinking, or they get the courage to do it. And I don't think suicide is self-destructive. I think it's an act of self-care. So there's a horrible picture from the 9/11 attacks in New York, and there's this person, I don't know if you've seen it, he's on fire and he's jumping out of the building.
Yeah, he jumps out, I've seen that, yeah.
And I think that's a good analogy for suicide. He knows he's going to die, he's on fire.
He's got no other choice, sort of thing.
He's choosing the path of least pain. So if what the fire exit, so we're upstairs right now, you'd never ever climb out the window, down the drain pipe to your car, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But if that's on fire out there, your world's on fire, you go for that exit. So it's almost like suicide's an act of self-care.
Because you do get a lot of people that say it's bravery to do it, but you also, on the other hand, get a lot of people say it's an easy thing to do. I can't. I just can't see that being an easy thing to do, to be honest. I mean, you've got to be in a serious state to be even contemplating something like. I've contemplated it, but I've never been bad enough where I thought, you know what, I'm going to fucking do it. Yeah, that must be tough.
Well, a bit of self-disclosure. In my family are watching this, apologies, but when I was poorly, I had a couple of attempts.
Did you?
And what I can say is it was like an automatic thing.
Right.
It wasn't planned out, I'm going to do this and this and this.
Yeah.
It was like a switch went.
Really?
That's what you call dissociation. So it's like I went to autopilot.
Really, yeah?
Yeah, and I pulled for attempts. You know, I regretted doing it straight away, and I survived both of them, but it was just like something said, that's it, Dan, you've had enough now.
Yeah, do it.
And just do it, and it was very spontaneous. And that's what we reckon, when people are isolated, and they've had alcohol, there's no to stop them doing it.
Yeah.
And they've got that change of perceptions in the world, because alcohol's a depressant, don't forget. We drink it to feel better, but it makes us feel lower.
Well, that's when I did mine. Well, I say I did mine. I knew it was going to, like I said before, it was Zoplicone and cocaine.
Yeah.
When I thought that my world had ended, I nearly lost my job, my house, people in my life had passed away, etc., etc., and I was taking them like, I'm not bothered what happens.
Yeah.
And I collapsed and I woke up, I think it was 36 hours later, something like that, I woke up.
It's proper near miss, that wasn't it?
Yeah.
So how have you been, since that happened then, have you got a new lease for life since then?
Yeah, so we're running out of time on this now. We'll stop and have a quick 10 minutes coffee and stuff, and then I'll explain that. I'll speak to you about that and see what you think.
Okay, yeah.
Cool. One of the first half hour, the conversation was decent, I thought.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what we need, just men, relax, talk about these sort of things.
That's it. There's no logic to any of this. Again, it's just sit down, put the mic to your fucking mouth and start talking.
But how many men actually have these conversations when they need to have them without the podcast, just sitting around?
Yeah.
You know, men only talk when the physical boundaries are down, after a few pints or in the gym.
Yeah.
I do most of my talk and most of my therapy with my mates when I'm on the punch bag.
Do you?
Or like, you know, walking back from the pub.
Yeah.
Why has it got to that point? Why can't we just sit down and do it?
I'm hoping. I know a lot of people won't come on here when they're in the darkness. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. I think it'd be a good thing if they did. Yeah. Maybe to come on here with me and somebody like yourself here. Yeah. Not saying that you have to give out a therapy session, but maybe it'd work. Maybe it won't. That's the whole point of what I'm trying to do here, really. Yeah. So the question that you asked before we turned off.
You had that 36 hours, you said, so you went self-destructive, you were having that with the Zopiclone and the alcohol and so on, and then, like you said, you passed out for that time. Yeah. So I was saying, how's your view on life been since you came around from that? It's
a strange one because I've never really believed in fate and things like that. Yeah. So about a week or so after it, I was at the hole in the wall in the cash machine in Flint, and my missus, who I'm with now, just walked past me. That was it. Like no other... No conversation, no hello. And then she liked a picture of mine on Facebook. So you think, well...
Here we go.
Yeah. So then, if I'm being totally honest, she brought me out of it. Or I brought myself out of it. I brought myself out of where I was. But she was a massive influence for me. I had a lot of pain in me, a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, a lot of... more towards myself. Yeah. I hated myself. I hated the person that I'd become. I hated the things that I've done in the past to certain people and the way I've acted. And, my relationship with my mum and dad wasn't great when I was a kid. And I'd put my children through the pain of separation with their mum and losing the house. And it fucking tore me up.
So that's why you're so self-destructive. Yeah. You're punishing yourself.
I hated myself. I hated the person that you're looking at in the mirror. Yeah. Thinking you are one piece of shit. Yeah. But I don't think I am. I feel like I'm a decent person. But I've just... made so many fucking mistakes in life.
I've got that belief that I don't think you get bad people. I think you get people who do sometimes unhelpful things. Yeah. Yeah, you do get bad people out there, like sex offenders and rapists and so on. Yeah. But I think the average person isn't a bad person. No. They're people who do what they can to survive. Yeah. And that means we're short-sighted sometimes. Yeah. So with your missus, she didn't take away all that happened before, but she gave you a new focus. Yeah. And I'm wondering that. So a lot of times when people are suicidal, what I try and work out in my therapy sessions is, do you want to die or do you want to end the life you're in now?
I definitely didn't want to die. I just wanted a new life.
End this life now. Yeah. And I wonder whether there's ways, men, we can sort of try building this new life without putting a suicide attempt or self-destructive in between. Can we skip that bit and go to building a new life? And that may be healthy for us.
I think the processes that I put into place was, one, I stopped eating shit food. I didn't drink for I'm going to say 11, 12 weeks after that, when I got with my missus.
That cycle.
Because I told her everything. I told her the lifestyle that I'd lived, the type of partner that I used to be, the type of person I was within the community. You know, just like drinking and drug abuse.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that story, you know, but she accepted what I told her.
And that's a brave thing to do as well, to sort of like say, look, this is me. Be honest to yourself what you've been doing, as well as being honest to her as well.
I felt like I had to, because if I didn't, you're just going round in another vicious cycle otherwise. Yeah. If I'd have just said to her, I'm an all right lad. Yeah. I've done a few things and been a bit of a lad, but that's not the case anymore. The case is now a couple of weeks ago, I was fearing for my life. I've nearly lost my job. I'm on the point where I feel like fucking killing myself.
Yeah.
Do I just carry on in that repetitive, you know, endless fucking lifestyle, or do I accept what's happened, address it, explain to her the truth, and then try and start putting positive coping mechanisms in place rather than the negative ones?
Exactly, yeah. So you've had to be authentic and be honest to yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's how me as well. I see a lot of people I work with, when we stop trying to be who we want to be and accept who we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so where am I now? Where do I want to be? What do we do for the gap in? So I'm not trying to end the old life.
Yeah.
How do I build the new life?
Yeah. I'll always have that part of my life.
Yeah.
Like Daz Cooper come on the other night and he said, well, that life led to this life.
Yeah.
So I think for me now I think as far as addiction goes and as far as all those emotions will stay with me forever. I'll never, ever get rid of any of the emotions that I've felt in the past. Pain, heartbreak, anger, the loss of people in your life. They'll stay with you forever, but the fact of the matter is, if I'm going to continue to live, I want to be happy.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy life rather than sitting in a fucking dark room for 3 days drinking and taking cocaine. It's not good. It's not.
And it's that like end goal, isn't it? So when you're in that dark room, you have the quick dopamine hits.
Yeah.
So porn, drugs, alcohol, chocolates. You know, doom scrolling on TikTok or one of their social media.
Yeah.
Because you get quick dopamine hit, you feel good quickly, and then that goes.
Then you feel like shit again.
Exactly.
So you probably feel even worse.
Yeah, because if you're here, you do it, and now you're up here, and it drops again. So we keep chasing that high. But we say, hang on, this is not working. What do I need? You know, some people do ice baths, some people do long walks.
I've got an ice bath.
You've got that, yeah? Some people go to the gym, whatever it is, you know. It's a dangerous to put all on one person, but to have as many things as you can in your community, in your world, that keep you focused on who you want to be, and building this new life. Maybe if more men done that, we can try and reduce our self-destructive behaviours, possibly.
The therapy group that I started going to, I think it was October or November 2022, Man to Man it's called, in Queen's Ferry. So you go there, and I told them pretty much everything what I've just told you. I elaborated on it a little bit more. Not a single person sat there and judged you, laughed at you, you know, said, you're fucking, what are you doing there? You're an idiot. You know, nobody. But we all had our own stories, but we could also generalise with each other on what other people, you know, they were talking about. That helped me a lot. Sitting with, and I think, what was the 10 to 12 of us? Normal lads, no therapists, no psychiatrists, just normal lads. Yeah. And we were all sat there, and that helped. So that, my partner, because she's a very, what's the word? She's just easy, like, doesn't want anything. She's not materialistic. She doesn't want anything special. She just wants your company.
Just wants you, who you are.
Yeah. And I feel
that's the difference. Someone seeing you, not your behaviours.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I just felt like it took a little while, because at first I nearly, even though I was saying the right things, I wasn't doing them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I managed to I completely took myself away from my old self and just, again, started putting new bricks in place. Like I said, one of my coping mechanisms, I was about 25 stone 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Proper Tyson Fury story. I've always been big anyway. I'm like 21 and a half stone now.
Yeah.
But I went from 25 stone to 18 stone in about 3 months, 4 months.
Massive drop.
But I was doing cardio every morning, going to the gym at night, lifting weights. Yeah. My diet was absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
And honestly, the difference was incredible.
And it's weird, isn't it? Even though you do more exercise, you spend more calories, you feel less tired because...
I had more energy than I've had in the last 10 years.
It's like putting your phone on charge. Yeah. You're doing the things that charge you up as a human, you know? Yeah. Invest in that future that you want as opposed to invest in the things that don't give you what you want.
Yeah, and for me, that's when I really started to make the step changes that I needed to, you know, be better. Be better. I'm still learning. I think we'll always carry on. We'll always learn. But from where I was 2 years ago to just from them three things, me missus, the gym, and really addressing your own darkness, addressing all the shit you've done wrong in life. If you're not willing to sit with it and have the conversation with it, you'll never overcome it.
Yeah, and that's what I think we do. So we try and run from it and hide from it with the alcohol, the porn, the chocolate, whatever it is we're doing. We try and escape it and actually sit there. I always say, it's not your fault that someone harmed you. Not your fault you got traumatised. But you're now accountable for how you get better.
I think a lot of myself, I always blame myself for harm other people have done to me in life. I blame myself for a very, very long time. Yeah. And I think a lot of people do that.
It's very common that. Yeah, guilt and shame, and that actually, I won't get into the geeky side of it today or the science of it, but we're hardwired. So when you're a child, you're egocentric. Your world is around you. So you cry, you get milk, you get a bottle, you know? Yeah. You ask for food, you get it. So as a kid, we used to get the things we want, so our world revolves around us.
Right.
So we think when we're in pain or we're crying or someone's treating us mean, our brains are hardwired to think that's our fault, and we can change someone's behaviour. So we grow up as adults thinking that when someone's mean to us, it's because of something we've done. And actually, it's about them and their world. But from young age, we get taught that basically... so in psychology, they call it a condition of worth. So you're taught as a young boy, you tidy your room, you're a good boy.
Yeah.
Good boy, you get treated.
Get rewarded
so
as well.
I'm more lovable.
Right.
If I kick the cat, I'm a bad boy. I get punished. I'm not lovable. So we find ourselves doing things that make people like us more. So we start being what everyone wants us to be. So you might be a different person at work than you are with your missus, than you are with your mates. And you act with each of those groups of people how you think they want you to act.
1,000,000%. I've done that. That was a conversation that I've had in the past. Yeah. I'd always act a certain way with a different group of people.
Exactly that. So then if they're now being mean to me or not giving me what I want, my brain now thinks, well, what am I not doing right to make you like me? So we blame ourselves.
And then you go and find the other group of people that do treat you well.
And that's why people, they blame themselves for being abused, they blame themselves for getting fired, they blame themselves for getting attacked, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And it's not our fault that someone else took that action. It's not our fault we got traumatised or we got hurt. But we're only going to have change when we're accountable for how we're going to move forward from this.
And that's why I was saying, look, I've had to sit there with the mirror and say it was, the stuff that... It is hard. Yeah. The stuff that I've done wrong in life and hurt other people, that's my fault. Yeah. And once I've addressed those issues, my mindset's completely different. It's weird. It's like, like you said before, something just clicks with the moment of suicide. Yeah. I really believe once you've sat down and looked in the mirror, it clicks as well. And
there's nowhere to hide, is there?
Yeah, exactly.
You're looking at yourself in the eyes, and I've done the mirror thing, and I'm still definitely working on it. There's a lot of stuff
we always do,
Yeah. And the guilt comes with it, and that you feel angry, so you shouldn't feel guilty, you've done something wrong. You punish yourself. Yeah. We're a work in progress. It's never going to end until we die.
I agree.
But it's the fact that you're striving towards something. You're trying to be a better person than what you were yesterday. That's what you can do. Yeah. Just try and make today better than yesterday.
You mentioned before about ACEs.
ACEs, they are. Adverse childhood events. Okay, so this was designed by a teacher in America. Right. She's a doctor, working with teachers. So what she found is, I think it was in Baltimore, that the kids from the roughest areas grew up to be unsuccessful in adult life. So they came up with this thing called adverse childhood events. So it's a scale of 10 things that happened to you in your childhood, and the more of those things that happen to you, then the less healthy psychologically your childhood is. And what they found is that actually means that you're less healthy physically when you get older. So anyone who scores 4 or... there's always, I scored 9 out of 10 on it. Do you know what I mean? I'm sat here doing this now. Yeah. I've had my struggles, but it's not a death sentence.
Yeah.
But if you score 4 or more, you're more than twice as likely to become a smoker. You're normally in the bottom 20% of society for earning. your 3 times more likely to become long-term health issue like diabetes, fibromyalgia, IBS. So it's how childhood events affects your immune system, your nervous system, and then how successful you are psychologically because of your self-belief in yourself. So we find people, and what we find in this area, there's a lot of ACEs. People score on average about 5 or 6 out of 10, which is unusually high.
Really?
These sides sort of, North Wales area.
And what sort of the average number? I don't know, globally or nationally or whatever is it?
They say 4 is significant, so up to 4 is okay, but you score 4 or more. The average number for my patients normally 6 or 7, roughly.
Right.
But it's not a death sentence. We can always change it.
Yeah.
Like we've just been saying, you're not responsible for what happened to you.
Yeah.
You're responsible for how you grow from it. But I think having that awareness of actually these things that happened in my childhood, these have affected how I see the world and give me a very sort of pinpointed way. Mm-hmm. Normally, it means you're very good at survival.
Yeah.
So I would say post-traumatic stress disorder, which is quite a rare diagnosis. Yes, it's a disorder in the modern world, but if you have PTSD back in medieval times, you're harder to kill. Because your brain is hypervigilant, you're on edge all the time, you're a bit paranoid, you can't sleep properly, you're ready to survive. So how do I use that and how do I actually capitalise on that? How do I sort of accept the fact that my brain is always in survival mode? So does it need to be like that now? Am I safe now? How do I recognise safety if I haven't known it as a child?
So what are like the indicators for that, for how they sort of I don't know where you put in that between that 1 to 10? Yeah. What are the sort of the indicators?
What the questions on it? Just things like, did you ever witness domestic violence or on there? Right. I can't remember all 10.
So it's a question.
It's 10 questions, Where did you ever sexually inappropriately touched?
Yeah.
Did you ever have a parent who got into prison?
Yeah.
Did you ever feel unloved? Did you ever have to go without food or wash? So signs of neglect as well. And these 10 questions about how did you ever feel any of these 10 things in your childhood?
So for every question, is that a 1?
It's a 1, yeah.
So obviously 10 questions and 10 being the highest
score.
I'd like to see what I score. I'd like to have a go at that.
Well, if anyone doing this who's watching us at home, be careful. Find your ACE score,
right?
Okay, on Google. 10 questions are in there. But just be prepared that when you answer those questions, you might get some spicy memories come up that you weren't expecting, from your childhood.
Yeah.
So just be aware, it might bring things up for you.
Yeah.
It's just reading the questions can be hard work for some people. You're like, oh yeah, that did happen. And it doesn't mean that you had a shit childhood.
Yeah.
It just means that your childhood maybe didn't wire you up to feel safe all the time.
Yeah. And that's sort of where I was with my childhood. I don't for 1 second feel like I had a bad childhood.
Yeah.
But there were some bad times in that childhood.
Exactly, yeah.
I think there's a difference between having a deprived and difficult and hard childhood and certain moments happening within that childhood.
Yeah.
But again, isolation, like my mum always used to say to me, she'd give me a smack because grounding me didn't do fuck all because I'd sit in my room for 4 days, no problem, and not see anybody.
And that's before PlayStations came out.
I think PlayStation 1 had just come out, I think.
Yeah. The Soulster,
Yeah. But yeah, that's interesting. I think I'll go home and have a look at that later on.
Yeah. And that's what it is. It just gives you an idea, I mean, it's not a bad childhood, but these events are important, like when you're so young. So I would say to someone who comes in, I've had a horrible week at work, in work. I've had a terrible week. Okay, you had a terrible week. So what days were terrible? Tuesday was horrible. What the rest of the week? Let's look at Tuesday. Was all Tuesday bad? And then you get down to it, that's like a bad 15 minutes or a bad hour on Tuesday. But then the whole
that's affected the rest of the week.
Exactly. And the event's finished, but the stress from it, the anxiety is still that high. They've been drinking heavily because of it, or I can't be asked to go to the gym tonight, I'm too stressed.
Yeah.
And then the sleep shit as well. And it's all affecting them. And actually, so this 10, 15 minutes of this hour, it's made a bad week. And when we're a child, if something significant happens, it really changes our sense of safety because the boat changes.
Yeah, I know that firsthand. I definitely do. Again, that's for another time, but I used to sometimes look for my grandparents. They were my safety net.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I've said this to my mum. My mum knows. I seen them a lot of the time as my parents, even though they were my grandparents. Yeah. Not saying my mum was a bad mother, because she wasn't. No. She could be very strict at times, but she wasn't over the top like most mums are. They can be. You do something wrong, or they feel like you need a bit of a backhander or whatever. You get it.
Yeah.
But for me, I think just in general, certain things that happened when I was younger. Yeah. My grandparents were my they were my safety net, really.
Yeah, and I think that's what we do. So as a young person, there's a horrible study that was done by psychologists years ago, and they got baby monkeys, and they give the baby monkey a teddy bear monkey to cuddle, and it cuddle it. They then got a teddy bear monkey with bits of razor blades and nails sticking out of it, and they still cuddled it. Even though it hurt them, they still wanted to cuddle something, even though it hurt. Do you know? And we find that. So when we're young, we look for somewhere safe.
Yeah.
And when you become a parent, you don't get a manual, do you? Do you know? I always say that many parents are just kids themselves trying to figure their way through it.
Sorry to interrupt, but that's where I sort of resented my mum for a lot of it. Even though she was there every day, she provided for me. Yeah. I always thought, well, you should have treated me a bit better.
You should know better.
But like I've learnt myself now, you know, being a parent doesn't come with a fucking guidebook.
No, it doesn't.
You know, it's hard. It's tough.
Yeah, and that's I'm a stepdad to an awesome 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Couldn't get any better. But I'm still like, shit, what we're doing?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I could be given a better kid to sort of like take care of. Yeah. So if it is like you've got difficult circumstances around you, you know, it's the hardest lesson I ever learned, as someone told me, is your parents were normal humans.
Yeah.
They're just normal people with their own problems who became pregnant, so like, oh shit, what do they do now?
Yeah, yeah. Same as we all do.
Yeah, and that's it. So as a young person, we think that they should know better, or you know, if they're mistreating us or not, we're doing something wrong.
Yeah, they're the ones I look to to guide me. So
we look for surrogates. Yeah, definitely. So your grandparents, or might be an auntie or an uncle, or it could be an older person, but we look for somewhere where we feel safe.
Mm.
You know? Yeah.
Interesting. It's been a good conversation, that, I think.
Hasn't it? Yeah.
I think that's about it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I asked 2 questions. I don't know if you've seen it on the other ones, but 2 questions at the end. They're quick draw questions.
Okay.
What's your plans, or what do you want to achieve over the next 12 months?
Okay.
And if you could sit down with 3 people from the past, 1 being family, and 2 people, any 2 people from the past, who could they be? Oh,
okay. Next 12 months, I want to finish my doctorate.
Yeah.
Being called Dr. Dan's a bit scary, but I just want to get out of the way, you know. Like
and that's clinical psychology?
That'll be counselling psychology.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so I've got to finish this doctorate, and then I can get it all mapped across to get the registration. So I hopefully get that finished. But it's a ball like. I'm not academic. Yeah. And then, from the past, I used to have an auntie Duds. She was like my safe place, you know. Yeah. I'd love to speak to her. She passed away quite a few years ago. So yeah, definitely love to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I don't know who else. The other 2's got me.
Any 2, whatever.
Any 2 from the past.
But any 2 from history. Any 2.
I'm on the spot here now. Do you know what? I've gone completely blank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's your passions like? Have you got any?
I love climbing. You know, so people who are dead, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what, man?
I said Hitler. I did at one point.
Why Hitler?
Just to see what the fuck he was playing at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Come on.
Yeah.
Tell the chat.
Yeah.
It's not bad one, actually.
Yeah. Who else have people said? A couple of people have said Jesus. What did we get one the other day? What did Kenny say? What did he fucking... I can't remember what he said. But yeah, if you can't think of any, mate, you can't think of any.
I'm blank. I'm blaming the brain damage.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Are you a football fan? Do you like football?
No, rugby. I'm not a big football fan, really. Rugby or martial arts.
Like martial arts?
Yeah.
Bruce Lee.
Actually, Bruce Lee would be a good one. Yeah, Bruce Lee would be good.
Martial arts. I've just bought a book now. Have you heard of Miyamoto Musashi?
Yes, Book of 5 Rings.
Yeah, that's it. I've just bought it. Have you read it?
I read it when I was 15. That was like life-changing. Really, really good.
Have you? Yeah. I've literally got it about 5-6 days ago, so I'm going to start reading that.
When you finish that one, there's another book called Hagakure by Joko Yamamoto. He was a samurai who basically kept a secret diary.
All right, okay.
And it's a good follow-on from that.
Yeah.
It's up from like 1536 or something, and it follows it pretty well.
When was Musashi? He was like 14, 17?
14, something like that. Yeah, I mean, Musashi, he was like 12 years old, he killed a guy with an oar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. He just had this... And that's a good example of PTSD. The guy was always living... He wouldn't even have a bath, Musashi, in case he was being unarmed.
Really, yeah.
So, you know, Shinto religion, you've got to be clean for your gods. And
he isolated himself, didn't he, towards the end of it?
Exactly,
live in exile or whatever.
He wasn't a mentally healthy person, let's face it.
Yeah.
But
he was a lunatic.
It worked in his favour. Yeah. He's fighting with two swords.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Wasn't he a dual swordsman or something like that?
Two long swords, unheard of. You know? He turned up late to a duel, hung over, not even dressed properly, picked up an oar out there, doink, back on his boat and back to the bar.
Did they? Yeah.
You know, unorthodox. Yeah. So
he'd be somebody like him, and Achilles or something like that. I'd like.
Yeah.
I like Ancient War and stuff like that.
Do you know, actually, Christopher Lee,
All right,
the
yeah.
actor, he was part of the...
Was he Dracula?
He was Dracula.
Yeah.
Well, he was the inspiration for James Bond.
Was he?
So
that's right, because when
Gentlemanly Warfare, that's it. Yeah.
When he plays Count, whatever his name is, it's not Count. It's in Star Wars.
Yes.
He actually, I think he has to stab somebody or something.
Yeah.
And he says to the directors, that's not how they'd react. If you were to stab somebody in the back, they wouldn't fall this way. And they were like, how do you know this? And then I'm sure he was in MI5 or something.
Sort of, yeah. So there's a film, Henry Cavill's got a film coming out called The League of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Right.
It's based on his old unit.
Right, okay.
So it's basically the first hit squad.
Well, yeah.
For like MI5, MI6 and stuff like that.
That'd be cool.
So that's what he used to do. He was a bit of an assassin, like.
Cool.
He'd have some good stories, I reckon.
I bet you he would, yeah.
Yeah.
What was that? What's the one above SAS and SBS? There's a unit.
Special Reconnaissance Regiments.
Yeah, there's that one, and then I was watching it the other day. It's something. Is it not E Squadron? Is it E Squadron?
Sure.
Have a look at that when you get home. I'm sure I've read something on E Squadron, and it was like the elite of the SBS, SAS, and the Special Reconnaissance Unit working for the MI5, and they a bit like Men in Black, where they wipe all your details.
When we talk about this, little red dots can start appearing on us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like snipers around. So
yeah, don't get seen ever again. That's it, mate. Cool.
Awesome, mate. Nice one, mate.
Thanks very much. Appreciate